Hello everybody and welcome back to Super Metroid Redesign Axeil Edition in the land of the never-ending torment that is terrain. So after all the wonderful things I had to say in the last video, I figured I would try to balance that out. Not really, because it's all deserved, but I will try to mention some of the things I actually do like about this terrain, and quite possibly why it fails at capitalizing on the ideas. We'll see if I get this. I'm going to try not to go too much into sort of review mode or whatever, because I'll save that for the actual review at the end. And yes, I just rolled off like a dingbat. So, some interesting things with terrain. You saw just a tiny bit of it. Mostly it was just death. But also like how the map tile jumps over a space there to make it line up properly. It's like you couldn't make that room one scroll longer. Anyway, you saw a little bit in the previous video between when I recorded those there and when I recorded here. I sort of got into a pattern of sorts with the Metroids. It's not exactly ideal or whatever, but I was able to work with it. Also, should note for the... Oh yeah, this was great. This was absolutely great here. For rooms with 2 Metroids. The Metroids will keep coming back. You have to destroy 4 Metroids, I believe. And for the rooms with 3 Metroids, for them to stop coming back, you have to destroy all 3 at the same time. So that's how they work, and that's all the rooms are. There's only ever 2 or 3 Metroids in a room. And if there's 3, you're pretty much screwed. 2 is workable. It's still not great, but it's workable. Okay, so terrain. This place, other than all the other aforementioned things, does have some very interesting ideas. Yeah, I was trying to get that Metroid to latch on, but it wasn't having it. Basically, the place is on lockdown. As you can see, there's gray doors, there's purple doors, there's Metroids. There's death lasers. So death lasers are the big thing with this, clearly. The idea behind this terrain is you have to go around, destroy certain Zebatites, which will shut off the death lasers. And you'll see that is a very big thing in this hack. Or this area, I should say. Which is very interesting and all. Provides a nice little... It's different. It's not your usual terrain. It's sort of like Z-Factor in that it's actually locked down. Although it's way overdone on purple doors. So that part is actually cool. Oh yeah, that's what happens when you destroy a Metroid like that. Yeah, these things were just great. Can't imagine why anybody ever complained about these. So the place is on lockdown. You have to search for things to unlock stuff. That's idea I like. You know, it's actually very Z-Factory in how it is. It doesn't pull it off that well. It pulls it off in a very redesigned way. Basically, it's long, it's tedious, and there's really not much going on but annoying stuff. And here's a 3 Metroid room for you. So yeah, you have to destroy all 3 at the same time for the doors to unlock. and your supers just don't fire fast enough. So here is something I discovered, and that I used to my advantage. As you know, the enemy leaves its drops, it doesn't respawn. Also, keep note of those rooms, we will be coming back to them. And in this version, it's one of the worst things about this area. Or the idea behind this area. That was one of the death lasers. You'll see, not in this video because this terrain is long. And I'm not going to cut anything and make it faster because that would be very unredesign-like. I'm going to make this as slow as possible. I should probably just slow this down just so it fits with the hack. So, yeah, the death lasers, they're interesting. You'll see later there's where the previous room comes into play. It's pretty interesting. It goes on for too long. Which again, it's a redesign thing, so yeah, that's just what it does. And also, for some reason, despite me leaving a pickup, that Metroid still came back, so it's like, really? Oh, and I believe I misspoke in the last video. I said that Drew said you shouldn't lose more than 3 energy tanks. The correct thing was, he said you shouldn't lose more than 1 energy tank in a room like this. Because, yeah. Because so there's really 2 segments to this death laser thing. The first one is what I'm going through right now. The whole area is on lockdown. I kind of have to saw the laser in like the second room in terrain. That's something, you know, we've got to take care of to advance just past that. And it's really, you know, this part, if he had done one or the other with these 2 sections, it probably would be better. But I ended up going with both. Yeah, this is... I believe that is the type of pattern Drew refuses to acknowledge actually even exists in this hack. I don't believe that he believes that it's possible for that to be an issue. Where you bob one off and then another just latches on. So, the issue with the first section of these death lasers is, and this has been fixed in later versions, it's some of the things you have to find are ridiculous and there's no hints for them. There's no visual hint that this is what you need to do to get there. Also, purple doors, because yay. And yes, the Rinka knocked me out of screw attack. Like I said, the screw attack is absolutely useless. The only thing it does is make you jump into enemies faster, which will just kill you faster, so yeah. So here's another one of these rooms. So yeah, those rooms are suspicious for a reason. It's not just because there's a whirring death laser in it. But yeah, the idea behind the terrain is actually good and fun. I like that. It's not the greatest execution of the idea. Whereas Z-Factor had something similar with the lockdown or whatever that this is doing. The difference being the Z-Factor's terrain was not long and tedious, and made sense. This one makes sense, sort of. But it's also long and tedious to an extreme. And you'll see that later when the second section of the death lasers come up. At least in this version. Which again, that has been fixed. Yeah, we'll get to that later. So yeah, see, we can get here, but we can't actually get past that death laser. We have to shut something else off first. Spoilers, this takes me a while to find because again, there is no hint for the spot I actually have to bomb in order to get through to finally start getting places where I can unlock or turn off more of these death lasers. So it takes a while. I can go all the way through terrain right here. Whereas with Z Factor, if you were going a path, it is a set path. You know you're on the right way. If you're making progress, it's right. Also, yes, I turned into a crumble block on the return journey, so that's pretty cool. I do like that. You had to have a way to get the player out. Although every time you go up there, you have to fire another super into it. Because reasons. But yeah. Whereas terrain, you are making progress, or Z Factor, you're making progress, and whenever you're actually getting somewhere in terrain. That's just like I'm getting places right now. I am not actually making progress. I go through a whole lot of this video not actually making progress. Also, that room right there, it's a really cool effect. Where you just roll around in the background. You'll actually see that effect in well, not quite a few, but in some rooms where you're actually, the background actually turns solid while you're in it, in the room. You didn't leave the room. It's not trickery with the rooms. It's literally just the blocks changing property types. So with this, we at least opened that part of the gate up. We can't get the other one because there's a death laser there. If you can walk into death lasers and not die. If you fall on a death laser, you're dead. That's just how it is. But we've got to find a way to shut off that death laser so we can get on the bottom path, open up the other gate so we can get to the Zepatite back there to shut off another death laser. And this kind of puzzle aspect, it's nice. I didn't mind it. I mean, I minded it a lot more at the time because while I'm playing this, I am still very upset with the hack. I am raging at these Metroids. Yeah, it just, like, it ruined the whole thing. So anyway, that's basically what I can explore back here. You know, I have made a big chunk of progress, technically. I've explored rooms, but I haven't really done anything. I could only get one half of that gate those gates open, which does me no good. I need both of them. So while I was there, yeah, I found the thing. It's not what I need. So yeah. Also, spoilers, if you are playing this and you're sort of stuck, hopefully you're on the newer version, which fixes some things. Most notably the Metroids. It also, because I saw Technomagus play or stream Axeil. He was playing Terrain about the same time I started. And I had been playing for a little bit, going through here, not getting anywhere. And I looked and saw the thing I needed to bomb. It's definitely visible in his version, in the newer version. He was playing on 1.4, I believe. But it's visible in that. This one is not visible. So yeah, it's another death laser room. Those rooms, very fun. 1.4 also fixes... Well, it doesn't really fix, because... Okay. Those little suspicious 1x1 rooms with the death lasers in them. The second part of the death laser thing. Basically, the room before Mother Brain is filled with a bunch of death lasers. Those 1x1 rooms you're seeing are the switches to shut them off. Now, what Drew has done, which is actually logical, he's actually made it so that the death lasers, you know, you shut them off and you kind of have to do it in sequence. So this spot will open up this spot, which will open up this spot, which will open up this spot. The problem is, this terrain without the second section is probably a good hour and a half long already for a normal player. So at that point, it becomes redesigned to an extreme. It's just super tedious. There's really no other way to put it. It's like you're just done with the hack, only playing it to get it finished with. And at the time when I was playing this, I wasn't really sure I felt it deserved that. But yeah, this knocking the lasers off in sequence makes sense. It's logical. But because of how the hack is, it's just this long, boring segment of pretty much nothing. You know, he had to change it so that now you can, in the 1.4 version, you can get any of those 1x1 rooms in whatever order you want. Which still takes a good chunk of time because of how big this place is. So it's... doesn't quite make as much sense once you get to that point in the newer version. But it's kind of a necessary thing just because of how the hack plays out. So yeah, that save point. Once you get to that, I would say you're only about a third of the way through. You'll look like you're halfway or over halfway through terrain. I'd say you're only about a fourth to a third through at that point once you get there. So yeah, I'm just looking around trying to find what in the world I'm supposed to be doing. It's like, oh, I can go up here too. Which, yes, I can. This does me no good. It's the other side of that one room we were in. At least it does me no good right now. It'll do us plenty of good later when we actually have to shut that thing off. But yeah, it feels like you're going a long way in this first section. Or just to that first save. Which... it just pulls another redesign and says, nope, you're not actually that far in. You have to do more long and tedious stuff before then. But yeah, that death laser right there is our main concern. That first one. The bomb block I need is in that room. Like I said, at 1.4, you can spot it. It's like a one of those Rinka circle things, except it's blue. So he made it visible. There is something else in this room. Which the power bomb thankfully does show, which is up here. So again, you saw the background just become solid or whatever. I like that part. So this, it doesn't actually open a death laser up, but it does open one of the Zepatites up for later. That's the first thing you really need to do. You can kind of see in the background there's another morph spot going around. It's like, oh, hey, this looks like a thing. That is a thing. It starts in this room. There's a bomb block on basically opposite of the bomb block under this ledge here. Which again, it does not look like a bomb block. It just so happens to be one. So yeah, I'm just like, well, la-di-da, whatever. I'm still looking, I'm going around in circles. I probably missed something somewhere, which I definitely did. But it's all the way back in the beginning. So yeah, I can go around and explore and make a whole bunch of non-progress at this point. Go back, get my ammo refilled from that station, which is a recurring theme in this terrain. Because everything is a gray or a purple door. There might be 2 or 3 blue doors and maybe 1 regular missile door. Actually, I'm not even sure if there's a regular missile door. I'm pretty sure there's no super doors. But yeah, it's just that ammo station becomes a very valuable friend. Just because you absolutely have to have it. And if you didn't collect a lot of ammo before doing those stupid morph ball puzzles he has all over the place, or whatever, it's really going to be a huge hassle going through this area. That I do not recall if it's been changed to 1.4. And if it'll be changed to 1.5 further, I don't know. Because those purple doors, it's just so redesigny. It's long. It takes forever. It's kind of boring. Doesn't really add anything. It's like, oh, it's a new door. It's just really long and boring. Maybe not so much boring. Tedious. Long and tedious. Which is basically the most apt way you can describe this hack. And yeah, I'm still very salty about Screw Tech being absolutely useless. I believe in 1.5, which, again, as of right now, he's still working on. He's changed Screw Attack. Or not changed Screw Attack. He's changed it so that Rinkas no longer knock you out of Screw Attack. You still don't destroy Rinkas, they just don't knock you out. And spoilers, there are side hoppers in this place. They still knock you out. The Space Pirates still knock you out. Which again, for a hack that's supposed to be easier, it's supposed to be someone like... Also, yes, these have to be shot blocks, so you can't powerbomb them, because redesign. But for a hack that's supposed to be easier for players, this terrain is just completely the opposite of what it should be. Like, for the most part, it was easier. It was better, like the pathway, especially with the hint system, was easier to do, easier to find or whatever. And then once you get to terrain, it's just this sudden jump in... Not jump, it's a huge spike in difficulty. And it does not fit with the rest of the hack in that way. The long and tedious part definitely fits. It's got that all together. But then you throw in these Metroids, and then initially, like you see here, everything just knocks you out of Screw Attack, or whatever. Like Screw Attack, this is the player's safety net. A new player knows Screw Attack is safe. I can jump around, I may not be able to destroy anything, but I can jump around and I'll be safe until I figure out what exactly it is I want to do. That's taken away from the player. Because again, I don't know. And I don't know, it's really kind of a struggle, I think, for Drew to understand. Like, he has stuff the way he wants it, which is fine. You know, you're making a hack, you want it done like this or whatever. That's cool and all. It's not making things easier. To take one thing that people are complaining about and change it, but then add on something else to add back to it. And then, like I said, this was in the post. Like, he lowers one thing down. Like, say we've got difficulty sliders or whatever. And these enemies we got 3 sliders for every enemy. He has one slider set to 5 or whatever. Man, that one's never touched. The other 2, he's got one set to 3, the other set to 10. So, when he fixes something, I'm making massive air quotes while I'm saying fix, he pulls the one that's 10 down to 4 or 3. It's like, okay, I'll do that. The one that was a 3, he now adjusts that back to 10 to rebalance it back to what it was before. It's just, that's not making things easier. Technically, you made one aspect of an enemy easier, yes. But then you broke it by upping the difficulty in this other aspect. You know, that's not making things easier, that's reverting back to 0. Just going back to start. You know, easier is you're sliding the slider down and you're not touching any of the others. They stay where they're at. You know, easier would be changing the slider that's 10 down to 9 and then not touching the others. That would be easier. I don't know, it's just things like that that are really irksome sometimes with how that goes. But yeah, the X-ray blocks in that previous room, I think that was just an accident. I think. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. But yeah, this is basically your blind terrain. In 1.1 or 1.2, whatever version this is. So yeah, you can kind of see you have to destroy the 2 Zevatites back there to unlock this death laser, which lets you destroy that Zevatite. Which that might actually be the last Zevatite death laser thing to destroy. It might be. Because again, in this one, you actually have to go in sequential order, which makes sense. It's just finally gets to that point. Like, I am over this hack right now. I am so done. And then it just, you spend forever just to get to that point, and then you find like, oh my goodness, now I have to do this, and in a specific order, and it's just like, what? So, yeah. Welcome to Redesign, everybody. A lot of really interesting ideas and stuff, but done very, very, done in a way that makes slow and tedious unhappy with how it's been handled. Like, if slow and tedious was a person, it would be offended at how slow and tedious this hack is at some points. That's how slow and tedious this thing is. But anyway, at this point I'm kind of done, so I'm just like, welp. Like, I know I got that already, so whatever. And I just stopped over here, and then I watched Techno for a bit, and I found out what my problem was, so I will stop this video here too. So thanks for watching, I think. And we will see you in the next video where we make actual progress in terrain. So hooray for that.